Caleb sent in a $2 super chat donation. I was in tears. Sorry to go off topic, Aaron. Well, now that that's out of the way, thank you for that, Caleb. Welcome to NoDQ Live here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Aaron Rift, NoDQ, of course. Thank you to everyone for tuning in, whether it's live or on demand. I appreciate your viewership. If you enjoyed today's video, please share it on social media. Tell a friend about NoDQ Live and NoDQ.com. So, we have the first Monday Night Raw of 2019. We had the return of the greatest of all time, John Cena. We had the return to Raw of the immortal Hulk Hogan. And we had a rare appearance by the Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar. So let's go ahead and break down Monday Night Raw for January 7th, 2019. People in the chat room freaking out about the buzzed head. No shock there. All right, so new year, new haircut, right? Anyways, we had the Mean Gene Okerlund, not a video package, but just a little on-screen graphic that acknowledged his passing. And then we had, all of a sudden, a brawl backstage between Seth frickin' Rollins and the man with the nicest butt in sports entertainment, Bobby Lashley, the Destroyer. What are they calling him now? I'm forgetting what they call him. Oh, the almighty Bobby Lashley. So the two of them were fighting backstage. The locker room was trying to separate them. Of course, the crowd did their oh so predictable, let them fight. It's so easy. The fans are so easy to impress with these pull-apart brawls. I'm just personally sick of them myself. They've been so overdone, but the crowd eats it up. The live crowd eats it up every single time. So that's why WWE keeps doing it. It's an easy pop. The pull-apart brawl, one of the easiest guaranteed pops in wrestling. Let's face it. So anyways, we had the two of them fighting right by the entrance, and then they fought to the back again. And then we had John Cena come out, of course, to kick off Raw, which was the big announcement. Why is TGS saying what the hell? I have no idea what he's talking about. First of all, let me just say this about the shaved head. A lot of you guys are not watching NoDQ video because you would have known about the shaved head already if you watched the NoDQ video that was posted over the weekend. So shame on all of you that are shocked right now about the hair being shaved off. Anyways, enough of that. Back to the Monday Night Raw review. Some people in this chat room have been busted. They are not keeping up on their NoDQ video, so shame on you. So we had John Cena come out, and speaking of, here we go, here's a little tie-in. Speaking of people cutting their hair, there was a very clear sign in the crowd that said, "Shave your head, Cena." I did it. John, it's your turn now, my friend. So John Cena came out and he talked about WrestleMania. He called it the granddaddy of them all, which is actually really amusing because allegedly that is one of the banned terms that WWE is not allowed to use. They're allowed to say certain things and certain things they are not allowed to say. Apparently they are not allowed to say granddaddy of them all. They're not allowed to say the numbers for WrestleMania because saying those things makes WrestleMania sound old, apparently. I know it's really stupid, but that's how Vince McMahon operates. And yeah, I'm not really a fan of getting rid of the numbers, but we haven't had numbers for really enter the 2019 Royal Rumble match. So there you go. There was this talk, and I guess it was kayfabe on Cena's part, or he's going to work around whatever schedule he has. But Cena was acting like he was only going to be around for a couple weeks, and then he would start his movie like on the 20th, and then he would be gone again. So clearly that was a work to some degree. And I figured Cena was probably going to be in the Royal Rumble. I see no sense in bringing him back to television and then not having him in the Rumble. Doesn't really make any sense because it's just going to be one big distraction. So I figured Cena was going to be in the Rumble, and in fact, he is. He was interrupted by the Scottish Supernova, whatever the hell they're calling him. Every guy has to have a nickname in WWE. So we had Drew McIntyre come out, and he brought up another reference to Nikki Bella, saying he doesn't care who Cena is sleeping with or not sleeping with. He called Cena's haircut a stupid haircut. And I'm surprised we did not get a stupid haircut chant from the fans. If anything, the crowd was into Cena. They were doing a Cena chant. McIntyre said he's the most dangerous man in WWE. I guess the most dangerous man since Ken Shamrock. He said, if you don't believe him, ask Kurt Angle, ask The Shield. Drew McIntyre has been on a rampage. John Cena's like, this is the same thing I've heard over and over again. Everybody says this. And then McIntyre's like, well, you know what? I'll go ahead and show you what I'm all about. So we had this confrontation, and then all of a sudden we had we had Lashley and Rollins come back out from the backstage area. They were fighting. Dean Ambrose came out to get involved, and then we had Finn Balor make his big save to even the odds at 3 versus 3 apiece. So you know what this means, everybody. During the commercial break, it's a new era, but we still got to make matches during the commercial break. And even more so than that, we have to have a very lengthy match. We have to have Finn Balor after the opening match promo segment. So is it really 2018 or 2019 or whatever? I don't even know what year it is. It just feels like the same old thing. It feels like it could be any year of the past 5 years in WWE. It's ridiculous. Chris Green with a $2 super chat donation. He says, Cena had a bald spot going. He had to let it grow. Yeah, well, also there's something called hair extensions, and they can work quite nicely if you have money. I don't have that kind of money, so I have to opt for shaving the head. Josh Mansfield with a $5 super chat donation says, like you have room to talk about us not watching the videos, Aaron. Where were you last week during Virtue's Rage? Hashtag bad boss. Ouch. Hit me where it hurts, Josh Mansfield. That is the savage comment of the night right there. We'll see if that can be topped as the evening progresses. And I wanted to say best wishes to Cindy's grandmother. I hope she's doing better. Caleb, I did reference your super chat at the very beginning. You're literally my first line of the video, Caleb, just in case you missed it. So you'll have to go back and watch the replay. I did reference your super chat. I did not forget about it. So anyways, of course, we had to have the 6-man tag team match. Mealy Man with a $2 super chat donation. He says, was this Raw better than eating Mealy ASS whole? That I have no comment on, but thank you for the super chat donation. And Boston Punk is like WTF. So here we go with the, oh, this is just, it's going off the rails already. So we had the 6-man match, and it was fine. It was just too long. I'm not a fan, and I know I sound like a broken record, but WWE does it every single week. I'm tired of having the first quarter of the show just be built around the same group of people. If you're going to do a match with these guys, then break it up a little bit. Do the promo segment and say, later on tonight, we're going to have a match, instead of saying, we're going to have a match right after the break, and then you just do a really long match with like 3 commercial breaks. I'm not a fan of it. Save the long matches for the pay-per-view. Let's cut to the chase here. Let's just do the short 5-minute matches tops, 1 commercial break maybe. That's it. Don't stretch it out longer than that. Just my opinion. It makes for boring television, in my opinion. You have to see the same guys, commercial break, same guys, commercial break, same guys. And I want to see things changed up a little bit. I want to see more variety. And I'd rather see the Vince Russo formula of having a faster paced show. It still moves at a very slow pace, in my opinion. And when you have a 3-hour show, it just really tends to drag when the shows are presented like this. And of course, this is easy for WWE to just throw this stuff out here and do one long segment after another. Sean Warrington with a $2 super chat donation says, same old predictable Raw. And yeah, Raw would be way better as a 2-hour show, but it's not going to happen. This was not a Russo-style Raw. Not by a long shot. A Russo-style Raw would have been way faster paced. Just saying. So, anyways, back to the... Oh, I did want to mention that Lio Rush and Lashley cut a promo before that whole thing happened. I forgot to mention they didn't actually come back to the ring brawling. Lio Rush got on the mic and said Raw was going to be canceled because Rollins has gone crazy, and that's when Rollins came out, and then Ambrose came out, Balor came out, and they did the 6-man match. So Rollins ended up pinning Ambrose with the curb stomp, and there was a shot of Triple H talking to Bayley and Sasha Banks. Rollins went backstage, said, hey, I just beat Dean Ambrose. I want my shot at the title or championship opportunity, excuse me. He wanted his championship match, and Triple H was like, fine, you got it. It's going to be a Falls Count Anywhere match. And that was the main event for this Monday Night Raw. So then we had the big Hulk Hogan, Gene Okerlund tribute segment. Power Packers 90 with a $5 super chat donation. He says, this Raw proves why we need AEW to succeed. Well, just in general, even if Raw was a good show most of the time, and it's a mixed bag. I mean, there are some good shows, some bad shows, but competition's good, period. Regardless of the quality of WWE, you want to have another promotion out there that will keep WWE producing the best content possible because, you know, when there's competition, you have to be at your best because if you fall behind the times, you're going to lose your business to the competition. But WWE doesn't have to worry about that. They haven't had to worry about that for a long time now. Will that change? Only time will tell. So there was a 10-bell salute for Mean Gene Okerlund, and then Hulk Hogan was brought out. I know there's a lot of controversy about this. A lot of people upset, feeling this was very strategic by WWE to bring out Hogan, knowing he would not get booed in this environment. And yeah, that's probably the case. But with that being said, there's nobody else that could have done a better job of paying tribute to Gene Okerlund than Hulk Hogan. Maybe Ric Flair, but I mean, people think back to the history that Hogan and Okerlund have, going back to the 80s in the AWA, throughout the entire WWF run, throughout the WCW run, Gene Okerlund and Hulk Hogan. I mean, it was a tag team in itself. And that video package that Hogan introduced, that was amazing. And one thing about WWE that they've been consistent with over the years, the video packages always hit the spot. They always deliver. Tony H with a $2 super chat donation says, can we have more interviewers like Mean Gene, please? I agree. I mean, watching that video package, and Power Packers 90 with a $5 super chat donation says, and Hogan, then Hogan did, I think. Yeah. Complaining about Hogan, made this move about Hogan, then WWE, then Hogan. I think I just read the whole thing wrong, or he didn't. I don't know what I did there, but I get what he's saying. Yeah, the people that have been very vocal about Hogan have definitely... I don't know if they're a vocal minority or not, but they are definitely very vocal. And if you went on Twitter today and you saw WWE promoting Hogan's merchandise, pretty much all the comments were negative towards Hogan. But Hogan came out there. The fans in the arena gave him a great reaction. Now, could that be a different scenario somewhere else? Who knows? Stephen Osborne with a $2 super chat donation says, smart to have Hulk Hogan only for this pop. Only for this, pop was still small. See, I disagree. I think the pop was huge. I mean, they were chanting Hogan, and when he came out, the crowd was reacting to him more than pretty much anything else on the entire show. I mean, this crowd was dead for a lot of Raw, but for Hogan, they got into it, and they were doing the Hogan chant, and he can still work a crowd, even at his age. You know, it just goes to show nobody can really touch Hogan in the charisma department. These guys can do all the flips they want, all the high spots, but Hogan can just come out there, glance at the crowd, and get just an amazing reaction from people. So we need more of that. We need more charisma, guys that can go out there and can connect with the audience by doing less. Sometimes less is more. So Hogan is one of those guys that can pull it off, just having the charisma and the presence and knowing how to connect with the audience. Chris Green with a $2 super chat donation says, people need to turn their TV up. Maybe Stefan's just not a big Hulk Hogan fan. I don't know. I thought it was a great reaction. I mean, it sounded like a big reaction to me watching on TV, and especially compared to a lot of the other stuff on the show. So the video package was great. It's up on NoDQ.com if you haven't seen it yet. I highly recommend watching it. Gene Okerlund, I mean, it really summed up his career very nicely. All of the great moments he was part of, and just a very entertaining guy. I mean, imagine trying to do that type of video package for Michael Cole. I guess well, I mean, there are a few interesting things he did, like, you know, being pranked by DX, and I guess when he got beat up in the coal mine that one time. There are a few moments here and there from Michael Cole, but not a lot. But with Gene Okerlund, you just had this entire highlight reel of all these funny things and entertaining moments that he had in WWE. But anyway, so after the video package, we had Hogan cut a promo about Gene Okerlund. TK with a $2 super chat donation says, thank you to Gene for your many years, cries. Yeah, Gene Okerlund is an all-time legend in WWE, and you know, this was really cool that we got to have this tribute on this show. So Hogan did a promo, and he talked about how Okerlund's still with him in his heart, and he brought up how Okerlund's up there with all the other legends. There's a tag team match that he's overseeing between Randy Savage and the Ultimate Warrior against Roddy Piper and Mr. Perfect, and Andre the Giant was the special referee, and then Okerlund was up there having to separate Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan, and then he even brought up Mae Young and the Fabulous Moolah. This was an excellent promo. I loved it. I thought it was really cool tribute to Mean Gene Okerlund. So this, to me, this was the highlight of the show. This was the best thing on Raw, and it involved a guy who has been inactive for many years and has been the center of controversy in recent years. So I don't know what that tells you about the rest of the state of Raw, but there you go. Hogan stole the show again. And this seems to be a running theme here. You know, going back a couple months ago, Undertaker and Shawn Michaels come out, and you know, they end up having the best segment on the show. It's a sign, man. I mean, the young guys, I mean, WWE keeps bringing these old timers back because, you know, we just don't have guys today with that type of charisma that the Hogans and the Flairs, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, we just don't have those guys with that type of charisma anymore. Tony H with a $2 super chat donation says, underrated Gene moment, the Hogan heel turn interview. I agree on that, and that was like the one thing that was not shown, but I kind of understand it. Hogan's out there paying tribute, so doing the whole heel thing was a little weird. But yeah, that was like the one significant moment that wasn't shown in that video package, but I get why it wasn't. Mealy Man with a $2 super chat donation, he says, wasn't Flair rumored to be here tonight, question mark. Wow, no obscene meaty comment from you. I'm surprised. You're disappointing me now. Yeah, there was talk that Flair was going to be there. He might have been backstage, but wasn't going to be a guarantee that he would be on the show. Also, the call-ups that are going to be debuting soon, and there was a video package for all of them again. EC3 and Lacey Evans had matches prior to Monday Night Raw, but they were not actually on the show, so WWE holding off on them, and I'm assuming we're going to see them by the Royal Rumble. I would be shocked if we don't see at least a couple of them in the Royal Rumble matches. So let's move on here to the Lumberjack match. Bobby Roode and Chad Gable defending against the Revival. The Revival had hashtag FTR tights on. So there you go. They're playing up on that, which probably a good majority of the audience has no idea what that's a reference to. I'm surprised that would even be allowed, but whatever. Just seems so random. Because if people search that hashtag, they're going to see the Young Bucks and they're going to see this other promotion that's starting up. Yeah, I know it's Forever the Revival, but if you search that hashtag, you're going to find the Young Bucks. I'm pretty sure. So I don't know why WWE would allow it. It's just weird to me. But anyway, so speaking of weird, before I get to that, Josh with the $2 super chat donation says, wasn't Undertaker rumored to be there? Who is his WrestleMania opponent? Undertaker was not rumored for this show. Don't know what's going on with him in WrestleMania. Ken terminated by Google with the $2 super chat donation says, did the video package include the F It blooper? Yes, it did, and I was very happy about that. We also got that clip with Wendy Richter where she said, no man's going to pin me down, and Okerlund broke out laughing. That was great. There was no Ken Patera. I was bummed about that. At least I didn't see it with the Ken Patera thing. So anyways, moving on here. We had the Lumberjack match, and what was weird about this was that Dawson and Wilder were basically acting like heels. There was an attempted pinfall, grabbing the tights, but then the finish was interesting because basically the Revival got screwed. I believe it was Dawson. He went for a cradle, and then Roode shoved it and reversed it, so it was Dawson who was being pinned, and the thing is he had his foot under the rope, so basically the ref counted 3 and Dawson said, hey, my foot was under the rope. So Revival got screwed again. I don't know what's going on here. Are they turning face? If that's the case, then why were they cheating earlier in the match? Why make it confusing to the audience who to cheer for? This was a mess. Wasn't a fan of this. We had Elias come out for a promo. He brought up 40,000 people being at the Royal Rumble. I don't know what that means, if WWE is falling short of selling out the place. From what I was understanding, they can fit up to 50,000. And WWE inflates the numbers too. So I was thinking they would announce at least 50,000 people to the stadium. But yeah, maybe they're struggling to sell tickets. I need to check up on that and see how those ticket sales are doing. But anyways, Elias said he's going to win the Royal Rumble. He said Baron Corbin's life is a joke now. Corbin came out and he said, you people want to see me disappear? Everybody's like, yes, of course. And then he's like, well, it's not going to happen. This led to a match between the two of them. Crowd really did not care that much. They did do a "you got fired" chant at Corbin. There was one funny moment where Corbin had a near fall, but then it was only a 2, and then Corbin yelled at the referee, "You suck." That was funny. I did like that. That was probably the only highlight of this match, though. I really didn't care much about it. The crowd started chanting CM Punk, so clearly they did not care about it either. Hamp Connell with a $2 super chat donation says, how much money will it take for you to sing Bree Mode? Well, I already did it. If you go back and watch the Survivor Series review video, the NoDQ live stream, I did do it at the very end, and Cindy actually helped me on it. See, Cindy just brought it up, so I already did it. I only do it once. One time is enough. And yes, thank you for that, Cindy. So Corbin won with the end of days. I don't care. Elias is going nowhere. Corbin's really going nowhere either. This just felt like filler to me. Dean Ambrose cut his promo backstage. He said the reason he did everything was to bring balance back to WWE. He said his last line of defense was to save everyone from the madman Seth Rollins. Okay, whatever. Then we had a segment that I really did not care about. We had Braun Strowman come out for his face-to-face confrontation with Brock Lesnar. Strowman didn't want to say anything. He just wanted to have Lesnar come out there. However, Lesnar did not come out right away. Him and Paul Heyman were backstage. And then we had this really awkward segment because, Mealy Man with a $2 super chat donation. He's back, everybody. Here we go. I feel like Corbin loves mealy booty hole eating. Thank you for that, Mealy Man. That was a very nice super chat comment. It was really beautiful. So anyways, yeah, we had this really awkward back and forth because Lesnar and Heyman's thing, it appeared to be pre-taped, and then Strowman's just not really on sync with what they were saying backstage. So the whole segment was really awkward. Strowman referred to Lesnar as a beastie boy. So that was pretty cringeworthy. And then he proceeded to just say the usual stuff that at the Royal Rumble, Lesnar's going to get these hands, blah, blah, blah. And then Lesnar's like, well, let's see what he has to say. So he went out there and walked around the ring, and then he walked away. And Strowman was like, Brock Lesnar, you turn around. And instead of charging after him, he just stood there, and Lesnar walked away, and that was that. This was dumb. This was a really bad segment, a match that I already had very little interest in. The previous two matches were duds. The Unforgiven one, was it Unforgiven? Whatever pay-per-view that was. I was there for it, and I don't even remember what it was called. But it was that first Strowman-Lesnar match, which was very disappointing. And then, yeah, the Crown Jewel match, if you even want to call it a match. No Mercy. Thank you for that, Michael Wayne. Man, I was at the pay-per-view, and I don't even remember what it was called. So, yeah, this sucked. I have zero interest in seeing this match again. Don't care about Lesnar as Universal Champion. Strowman has cooled off significantly. He's really been cooled off. I mean, the heel turn, I think, did damage. And then losing at Crown Jewel did even more damage. And then getting hurt further stalled his momentum. I don't even care about Strowman much anymore. So to me, this match is like, I'm very disinterested. And I think WWE really dropped the ball with Strowman. You could even say it started with the Owens feud and Strowman winning Money in the Bank, which made no sense whatsoever. And then that whole thing with Kevin Owens was just, so yeah, Strowman has not been on fire lately. I mean, he definitely cooled off. Some might say the Nicholas thing too, but I didn't hate the Nicholas thing as much as some other people. But yeah, I mean, Strowman he could have been the guy. He could have been the guy, and I feel like it's not going to happen now. And his momentum's gone. So we had a mixed tag team match, but before the match, we had Jinder Mahal out there with Alicia Fox and the Singh brothers. We had Jinder yell at the fans. He insulted Orlando and said they're not good enough to be part of the chanting. So Cheap Heat, of course, the usual Cheap Heat. We had Ember Moon and Apollo Crews come out for a mixed tag team match, which the babyfaces quickly won. It was a very short match, which is fine, you know. I'm a proponent of just getting to the point. So that's what this was, just a quick match. Not much else to say about it. Then we had the moment of bliss. Alexa Bliss with her little talk show. She got mad because her coffee was not there. She wanted her coffee. And then she showed a video package of Ronda Rousey's first year in WWE. Ronda came out and she called Sasha Banks. This was totally random, by the way. She just, out of nowhere, said that Sasha Banks is the unsung hero of Monday Night Raw. So I guess this is the way to get Sasha into the storyline. It was very random. Then we had coughing or something, some kind of noise that is going to haunt my dreams. It was Nia Jax. And if you guys, I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about here. Whatever that noise was, I never, ever, 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 ever want to hear it again. It was so bad. Chris Green with a $1 super chat donation. So yeah, Nia Jax came out, and yeah, she's like the X-Pac of the women's division. I mean, this is, and I like Sean Waltman too, but we all know the term X-Pac heat. I say we just call it Nia heat now, because this is, oh man. Every time she comes out, I legitimately want to shut my TV off. I want to break my TV every time Nia Jax comes out there. It's just so cringy. She came out there. She said she wanted her rematch for the women's title, just like Rollins was getting his rematch against Ambrose. Then Sasha came out. Nia said to step off because she's a 300-ounce, not 300-pound, but a 300-ounce Samoan, and Sasha Banks needs to get in the back of the line. Sasha responded with, "Bitch, what line?" So yeah, I mean, yeah, she said bitch, but it felt very forced. Sasha said, "The ring is there, let's do this now." So she got in the ring, and Nia just sat there and said, "I'm the bitch. I'm not a bitch. I'm just the bitch." And then she said she's not ready. We had a commercial. We came back from the commercial. We had the match. Sasha versus Nia Jax. Oh, excuse me. My apologies. She's 300.5 ounces. I don't know. This was so bad. The match was also pretty bad. They were just, the whole match felt off. I think Sasha attempted a Hurricane Rana on the apron, and basically Nia just didn't do anything. So Sasha just splatted on the mat. It was incredibly awkward, but the whole match to me felt awkward to me. I don't know. Power Packers 90 with a $2 super chat donation says, "That's 19 pounds." Well, there you go. Landonheim with a $2 super chat donation says, "LOL, Virtue times out people because they trash his audio." Ouch! Maybe that's the savage comment of the night. Ken terminated by Google with a $2 super chat donation. Cringeworthy talker, Nia Jax or Ahmed Johnson? Ahmed, I just couldn't understand what he was saying half the time. But, I mean, there was nothing he said that made me cringe more than the stuff Nia says. Mike B with a $5 super chat donation says, "Nia kind of sounded like Kermit when she first started talking." Ouch. Okay, maybe that's the new savage comment of the night. And Virtue says Landonheim is Mealy Man. I mean, I cringed for Ahmed Johnson stuff, but most of it was his wrestling. I mean, his promos, I just didn't know what he was saying half the time, like I said. But anyways, back to the match. Bayley was out there to counteract Tamina, and then Bayley attacked Tamina, threw her into the barricade, and meanwhile Sasha got back in the ring, got the bank statement on Nia, and Nia tapped out again. How many times has Nia tapped out to Sasha now? It's been quite a few times. You know, it's funny, I forget a lot of things, but I still remember the 2016 Survivor Series when Nia tapped out. I still remember that here over 2 years later. So yeah, it just goes to show how badly WWE screwed up Nia, like right from the get-go. Landonheim with a $2 super chat says, Virtue's audio quality is so garbage, I cannot listen. Wow. So basically, Landon Ime is the Frank Grimes to Virtue's Homer Simpson. Virtue has an enemy. And now Josh Mansfield with a $2 Super Chat donation, who is a Virtue supporter, says, at least Virtue is worth listening to. Hashtag Aaron is cringe. Wow. Apparently I have an enemy in Josh Mansfield. Hey, I'm fine. I'm fine with the arguing back and forth. I'm getting the Super Chats for it, so works for me. Anyways, I guess we'll talk about the main event segment, which was Dean Ambrose defending the Intercontinental Championship against Seth Rollins. By the way, we have 350 people watching live right now, so thank you for tuning in live. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please spread the word, share a link to this video with your friends, your family, anybody who watches wrestling. Even if they don't like wrestling, maybe they'll find me charming in some strange way. Hamp Kana with a $2 Super Chat donation. Aren't you just loving the change in WWE, Aaron? And he quoted change. Oh yes, I'm loving the change in WWE. I am just so ecstatic about the future in WWE. Nia doesn't have half the brain that Sid does. I like that. By the way, I wanted to give a shout out to Bill and Mary as well as Jennifer. You guys are awesome. I hope to be able to meet you all very soon. So enough of that. Wow, Josh. Wow. That is harsh, man. But then again, that's the only person I want to find me charming. I don't care if anybody else finds me charming or not. Ernie Eastman with a $1 Super Chat donation. Thank you for that, Ernie. So we had the main event match, Falls Count Anywhere, the two of them. So basically, Dean Ambrose came out with his music. He still has the damn sirens. So I guess now I consider the sirens to be the new record scratch. No Dolph Ziggler on this show, by the way. No Riot Squad either. I just say that because every week I was doing the, if Dolph gets rid of the record scratch, I'll give away a shirt, which I ended up doing, and then he had the record scratch returned. And then the Riot Squad, whatever they're called, if they change up the music, I would give away a free shirt. But none of them were on Raw this week, so whatever. I'm tempted now to say when Ambrose gets rid of the damn siren, I'll give away a t-shirt. I might just do that at this point. The siren's just really annoying me. Just not a fan of it. So Rollins jumped Ambrose during his entrance. They fought in the backstage area. Shaky camera work galore. And I wanted to mention this earlier. They did it during the opening segment with Lashley and Rollins. Oh, by the way, Mike B with a $5 Super Chat. Thank you, Mike B. A Falls Count Anywhere match that ends in the ring should have just been a no DQ match. WWE logic is BS. Well, I'll get to that here in a second. Thank you for the Super Chat. So, the shaky camera work, I hate. I know some people will argue, well, it makes it feel a little bit more realistic. No. If it's good, you don't need the shaky camera work. It's a cheap tactic to make what you're watching seem more exciting than it actually is. If it was done every once in a while, maybe I'd be okay with it. But WWE relies on it way too much. It's very unpleasing to me to watch on television. I feel like I'm going to have a seizure, like I'm going to throw up because of the shaky camera work. I'm like, dude, just friggin' hold the camera still. And somebody on Twitter tried to say, you know, I'm a cameraman and I can understand it. And I'm like, dude, in the 90s, in the 2000s, the camera work wasn't that shaky. WWE got it from ECW, I think, however. I remember ECW did it, like they would zoom in and out really fast, and I hated it. I found it to be really irritating. I know ECW did it, and I think WWE adapted it from ECW. So there's one negative thing about ECW. I know everyone loves ECW, but I wasn't a fan of the shaky camera work then, and I'm not a fan of it now. But anyways, back to the match. So I agree about that earlier comment. Ernie Eastman with a $2 super chat. He says, "Did you tear up for the Mean Gene tribute?" I did. I mean, that was a very emotional video package. Definitely hit me in the feels. And then Hogan referencing all the guys that have passed away. Absolutely. That was very emotional. And I was experiencing emotions of a different kind for much of the rest of the show. Yeah, I agree with a match because there weren't a whole lot of falls and way more. They fought through the crowd, and I mean it was a good match. I did enjoy it. I thought it was a good main event overall. We had the predictable interference from Bobby Lashley, who came out right after Rollins hit the stomp. So Rollins was about to win the title. Lashley interfered with his Sid Vicious vest, as Virtue likes to point out. And then, yeah, Lashley beat the crap out of Rollins, and then Ambrose covered Rollins and scored the pinfall victory. After the match, Bob the Lash pulled out the table and put Seth Rollins through the table, and that was Raw. So, that's pretty much all I have to say about the show. New era. I was not blown away by this show. I didn't think Raw was terrible, but I didn't think it was great either, or even close to great. Best thing about the show, in my opinion, was Hogan. And it shouldn't be like that, but yeah. I will give this show, I will be generous. I feel I have been generous lately. I will give it a C. I think it was an average Raw. Very average. The only thing I'll remember a month from now will be the Hogan segment. Everything else on the show just felt like standard Raw. You could miss this Raw, and you really would not have missed much other than the Hogan thing. If you're going to watch something, watch the Hogan promo, watch the video package, maybe watch the main event, the Falls Count Anywhere. Much of the rest of Raw, I think, was very skippable. So there you have it, my take on Monday Night Raw for January 7th. Caitlin gives it a C-, and I'm seeing a lot of C-minuses. Ken Terminated by Google with a $2 super chat donation. He says, "Did you enjoy both Perry Saturn's Siren themes?" Yeah, I did. I did enjoy the WCW one, and I did like the WWE one. I do not like Ambrose's. Virtue says over and under on the ratings for Raw. So Raw did its lowest rating for Christmas and then was under 2 million again. I think they're going to be up. I think it'll be like 2.5. Yeah, I'll go ahead and say Raw will do 2.5 million viewers. If they do anything above that, then I think they should be popping corks and having a big celebration at Titan Towers. If they're under 2.5, then that's probably not a good sign, although I guess there was a football game, some kind of college football game. I don't know. I'm not the sports guy here. DJ Whitey with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, DJ. What a duo Rush and Lashley are. They should not break up anytime soon. They elevate each other, especially Rush, both on 205 Live and the main roster. Well, I do agree about Leo Rush. I think Leo Rush does a great job. I think he's like the guy that's saving Lashley's career right now, because it reminds me a lot of Alberto and Ricardo. Without Ricardo, Alberto's act was pretty stale. Ricardo was the one that I really felt made the act entertaining, and I feel the same way about Leo Rush. I feel like he's the reason that there should be anybody even caring about Bobby Lashley in 2019. So, I definitely like what Leo Rush is doing. The Relaxing Noob with a $2 super chat. He says, Kenny Mega overrated. Raw gets 5 stars, sunglasses. So, Relaxing Noob is just trolling us, but thank you for that, Relaxing Noob. You're wonderful. Stephen Osborne with a $2 super chat says, Mean Gene's the best, so who's the second best? Well, if we're talking about backstage interviewers, who would be the second best? Very valid question, and you may have stumped me right now because I don't think there's a clear-cut second place. I mean, maybe Michael Cole. If we're talking about like backstage interviewers, Kayfabe Candy Ass says Lance Russell. He was pretty good. Renee Young has done a great job. You know, maybe not so much on the commentary for Raw, but I think backstage segment she does a pretty good job. People are saying Todd Pengill. Nah, I don't know about Todd Pengill. Nah, I don't know about not Borash. We're talking about backstage interviewers. Renee Young, definitely of the modern period, I would say her. Doc Hendricks, yeah, not bad. I think like everybody's a distant second to me. Coach, I mean, Coach was basically just getting insulted by The Rock all the time. Didn't really say much. People are saying Jesse Ventura. Yeah, I guess. I mean, Ventura was more known for his commentary than doing the backstage interviews. Kevin Kelly was all right. Did Bobby Heenan really do backstage interviews? I don't know if he did or not. He didn't do that many if he did. We're talking about backstage interviewers, but yeah, I mean, Mean Gene Okerlund was really in a class of his own. I mean, when I really think about it, like to me, like nobody even comes close to second. Like you could pretty much argue just about anybody, but it's a distant second from Okerlund. It's like Okerlund and then everybody else. But yeah, that's a great question, Stefan. Thank you for that. Got some interesting responses in the chat room. So on that note, I will go ahead and wrap up this edition of NoDQ Live. Thank you all very much for watching and supporting NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel. I will be back tomorrow night for another edition of NoDQ Live to give my thoughts on SmackDown Live. Should be an interesting show. We will find out the opponent for Asuka at the Royal Rumble. So let's see what happens with that.